do it. I'm going to hear from him in the future. So anyway, yeah, so it's Freestyle Friday, right? So what are your challenges? What are the opportunities? What questions do you have? What's something you want to learn? What's something you would like to talk about? And let's all help one another level up today. Just one. And here's the thing. Life doesn't change because of massive shifts. It's about the small shifts that are done repeatedly and consistently over time. So you may just be needing an adjustment of some kind of either it's a script or an approach or whatever that is, right? Can change everything, right? Just a 1 degree course correction in Los Angeles can either get you to New York or to Orlando, right? So what are you looking to shift? What the shift?
I was kind of reflecting this morning on, am I living my purpose in my business? Um,
Ooh.
and really thinking about, we are doing this challenge with 5,000 calls in 2 months and 50 open houses. Um, and it like just getting there and looking at that, like 5,000 calls is going to move the needle, right? It's just a numbers game. But what am I doing with those 5,000 calls? Like I can move that needle a little bit or I can move it a lot. If
Mm,
I'm just making 5,000 calls to make 5,000 calls,
yeah.
that's not going to have the same impact as if I'm targeting, say, for sale by owners, expireds, my sphere, circle prospecting around listings, those kind of things. And so it was just really having me question today, what am I doing to just be doing it? And what am I doing for a purpose?
Mm, good. Who's got something to share with that? Or does anyone else also resonate with that? Have you ever found yourself going through the motions to check off a box as opposed to being really purposeful?
I
I,
I think I can add on to that. I think that's really important, Michelle. That there's a big difference from just doing it to do it than doing it on purpose, because you've got to have goals on what is the reason you're doing that versus um just I'm just doing it. I'm just sitting here in an open house. Am I making it purposeful? Because you've got to have a reason. And what are your goals? I mean, are you getting people when they come in there? Are you just sitting there and saying hi? And are you getting to know those people and what their needs are? Are you getting their information? Are you following up with them? Um, and when you're there, are you doing other things while you're there? I mean, you could be making phone calls, you could be make follow-ups, you could be doing things real estate wise, not just, am I going to just scroll on my phone while I'm there? You gotta make it purposeful while you're there at the real estate. At least that's what I try to do at my open houses, just to, because it's a job. Well, I don't want to say job because I love what I do, but um it is. But but you've got to make it purposeful, like while you're there. You've got to, what am I doing while I'm here? Am I doing things to generate more? I mean, am I getting on Facebook and promoting that I'm there so I can try to get more people there also, not just the marketing that I did beforehand, or, you know. Mm.
so this is good, right? So like what's a simple way or what's an easy reminder for yourself that you can always attach to every interaction that can move the relationship forward, right? So if in my mind I'm categorizing, okay, so again, I love that this isn't a job. Sometimes it's like a calling, right? Like elementary school teachers, they don't do it to make the money, right? Listen, they're not making the money, and what they have to go through in elementary school, first graders and kindergartners, etc. Like who actually does that, like other than like they're called to do it, right? So that kind of, it's a calling, right? They know that they're putting their imprint on the future of our world. And in our thing, like in what we get to do, like for me, it's like relationships and how can I help people. And so if every opportunity I have in an interaction, I'm always thinking about three things. One, number one, how can I either create a relationship, how can I strengthen a relationship, or what problem can I solve? Those are the three questions that I always have in the back of my mind with every interaction. So I'm looking to either create a relationship, strengthen a relationship, or solve a problem. And so if the relationship feels solid, then I'm simply always at the end of any conversation going, what do you need? What can I help you with? And either like, who are you missing? Who would you like to meet? I'm just asking those questions to then be able to help and provide something to somebody like that. Even just that, um, can move the relationship forward.
Yeah, you need to get to know them a little bit. You can't just dive in and push the product, push the home. I mean, you got to get to know them a little bit. You got to make, like you said, make it a relationship, not just a sell.
Yeah.
I think too many people go into just pushing the house so much that they don't even, let's ask some questions. Let's get to know the person. Let's make a relationship with them and find out what do they need. I mean, you can't solve a problem without knowing what the problem is.
Right.
Not to call someone out, but I'm gonna call someone out. Ramil has a really good way of, like, when he's having conversations with people, asking questions to get to know him. And that was one thing that I took from a conversation we had was like, of course, you're always driving to get to the appointment, but are you asking the right questions to understand where they're coming from? So I don't, not to call you out, Ramil, but I think you're really good at that. And I think there's something there, if you wouldn't mind maybe sharing with people how you go about your conversations.
Yeah, and it's honestly something that I really had to work on. Just because like I'm super introverted. And lots of times I'd rather not have conversations with people. I'm just fine, just being around people and not talking. So um yeah, it's a lot of work, just listening to videos, listening to people talk. Um and one thing that when I first got into real estate that really helped was I was talking to another agent, and he was like, you really have to be, curious and like genuine about finding out, this information about people, right? Um, and so I realized one of the reasons why I didn't like want to talk to people was because when I was talking to people, I wasn't just fully engaged, right? I was just having the conversation to have the conversation, wasn't really listening to what they were saying, and I wasn't really learning or taking much back from that. Um, and so obviously once I got into real estate, realized like, hey, I have to talk to people. I have to get good at talking to people. That was just something I focused on. And so, there's a bunch of different, acronyms they could use. It's like the Ford, questions that you can ask them, the family, occupation, recreation, things like that. Just basic things that you can start with that, they just help move along the conversation, right? And one of the things that I also learned when you're having conversations, if you ask the right questions, you really don't even have to talk that much. So, um, just
That's the introvert's hack.
yeah,
Ask
yeah,
questions.
yeah.
You don't have to
Ask good
talk.
questions. You don't have to talk that much. Just make sure, you just responding to something that they said. And so, yeah, just really active listening. And yeah, when I'm in open houses, I'm talking to people, like I go into it never thinking that anybody that I talk to is going to buy the house that I'm sitting in. I'm always just looking to, kind of like Peggy said, further that relationship. And even I offer my service, that's the last thing I say to them, right? We'll have a conversation, talk to them about their family, whoever they're there with. Um, and then at the very end, I just joke around and say, I really want to be very good at my job if I didn't offer you my service. Everybody laughs about it, blah, blah, blah. And then, we just kind of go from there. But I make it really just nonchalant. Again, you don't want to be too salesy. Everybody knows when you're trying to be salesy. Every open house that they go into, the agents just, right in their face trying to, get their business. And so just kind of like Matt said, just little steps, just little tweaks, something you can do just to be, just that much different, right?
Mhm.
Hold off the, can I represent you till the end? And like Peggy said, find out about them. You generally have to be curious about people, and that'll help a lot.
I think I just had an aha from what you said too, Ramil, and that's, I struggle with this in my personal life too, and I've been working on this in my business, but we're problem solvers and we want to fix people's problems, but you can't fix people's problems if you don't ask questions. Like, I think sometimes the struggle that I have is I'm so excited and passionate about fixing their problem that I jump to the end of how I can fix their problem before I've built the trust to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of times I think people almost create problems for people, right? So maybe you're thinking they have a problem that they really don't have. And so you're
Bingo.
just starting out the bat trying to fix something that's not even a problem that they have. So
100%.
Good convo. Good stuff. Anyone else? What are some of the ways, what are some of the ways that you're able to purposefully engage and move relationships forward? What's your favorite questions in those types of conversations?
So I always like to ask people about hobbies.
Uh-huh.
It's just a super easy way to find out what they love, and usually there's a connection in there somewhere.
Yeah. So how do you ask that question?
After I've already kind of had the conversation you guys are talking about, it
Mhm.
just jumps into like, hey, what else do you like to do? Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah. It's that simple.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yesterday, actually, I was at an event and we got into that conversation and found out we both had a huge passion for coffee. So we literally talked for about 20 minutes just on coffee. So
Hmm. So now what's the next step that you can take now that you know somebody else's passion?
I'll follow up with him on Facebook and send
Mhm.
him. I'll probably actually send him a picture of my coffee because that's something he would enjoy. So
Yeah. Um, I don't want this to be like the Ramil show, but I want you to share what you did about the book, that the plant thing that we talked about from your one client.
Oh, the plant thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so one of my last closings, the they're old friends of mine. Well, the husband, we've been friends for like 15 plus years. They're finally, they got married. They're in the place to buy a home. So I found them a nice home. And it was an older couple and they did like a ton of like plant work, like gardening and stuff like that. So like their backyard was like so well maintained. They had tons of different plants. And for whatever reason, like it really like freaked them out. And they were like, I don't know what we're gonna do with these. Like, how do we take care of them? Can you like talk to them and see like if they have a routine? And so like I tried to get the information from the listing agent. She wasn't being too helpful. And so so what I did was on our final walkthrough, I found an app which I didn't know existed, but you can find an app, basically scan the plant, and it'll tell you, what the plant is, care routines, things like that. And so on our final walkthrough, while they were going around just checking things out, I went to every single plant in the backyard, took a picture, scanned it into this app. After that, I went into Canva, took that information and made like a booklet for them. And so I put the booklet together, put the plant picture on there so they knew what plant it was. Um, it offered like a scheduling, like a water schedule. So I made like a water schedule that I could put in the book with it so they could keep track of it, and put like Bishop's Garden, like made a cover for it. It was like Bishop's Garden, and gave it to them, with their closing gifts. And they were so excited about that gift because they literally had no idea, what they were going to do with it. They were stressing out about it. And for me, it was something super simple. Like it took me, I don't know, probably 45 minutes to do it all. And they were
Yeah.
just like, oh, you didn't have to do this. And, all the good
Exactly.
you want to hear. And
Yeah.
um, yeah,
So thoughtful, so
yeah.
thoughtful.
And honestly, if you guys haven't read the book, it's The Power of Moments. And
By Chip and Dan Heath.
yeah, great book. And it's just about literally just impacting people, you know, how you get like obviously we go through a bunch of moments, throughout life, but there's certain things that help moments stick out more than others. And so this book is literally just about, how do you create these moments for people? How do you, make a lasting impression? And so that's been, the past 3 or 4 months, that's just been my goal of just doing these. And I've done a couple other things, but yeah, just little things like that. Just strive to hear those words. You didn't have to, and you know,
If you're listening, if you're really intent on learning about people, you're going to hear these things. Talk about the bar sign.
oh
Ramil's,
yeah,
you like legit, like you need to put a course together on this because
yeah.
you
So
do this better than anybody else.
in the house, they had a bar downstairs. There's a Budweiser
This is a
sign.
different couple or same couple?
Yep. This is the same one.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so there's a bar sign over the bar. The sellers were, moving out. No, pay no mind to it. About 3 days before closing, my buyer asked, he's like, "Hey, do you know what they're doing with that Budweiser sign? Like, we really like it." Reached out and they had gotten rid of it. And so the husband was like, "Dang, like I wish I would have said something earlier. Maybe we could have bought it off him, whatever the case may be." So instantly I jump on social media, eBay, all those things, see if I could find the same sign. Found it on eBay. It was a little beat up. And I was like, no, I don't really want to get him a beat up sign, but like I'm gonna keep looking. So I'm looking. The day of our final walkthrough, I found a lady in Urbandale, which is, right where I work, and she was selling an almost identical sign to that one. It was a little different. And I was a little hesitant to get it because I was like, man, they really like the other sign. Like, I don't know how much they're gonna like this one, but I'm like, I'm gonna do it anyway. It was nice, good price. And so I got it for them. And again, that was just another one where they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this. Like, it's so cool. Can't wait to hang it up. They were like, we like it even more than the other one that was there. And just little things like that. Like, again, I was looking on the internet for probably, total 30 minutes, right? Just for those little tiny things. And it wasn't anything they expected from me. It was just something that, we picked up over conversation I knew they would like. Um, and so, yeah, again, from that book, just there's people will, tell you exactly what they want without saying exactly what they want. You just got to listen for it.
Yeah.
And it's not hard. It's really not. Once you listen to the book, you'll understand it's really not hard to create, those
The,
impactful
the
moments.
magic moments.
Yeah.
It's really the little things that are the big things. I mean, a lot of times.
It's
And
extra.
well,
Love extra.
they're everywhere if you're listening. If you truly have a heart to serve people and you really want to like surprise them, just listen. People will tell you exactly what they want.
Yeah. Yep. I got one more if you want to hear one more.
Yeah, Daisy.
No, I was just gonna say, like, everything that we're talking about right now reminds me of when I went through Bold. There's a story about how like every single person you come across has a tattoo over their forehead,
Yeah.
and it's MMFS. It's make me feel special.
Yeah.
So if you can approach every single person with that mindset, like, how do I make this person feel special right now? Then I think that you can gain their trust, and then doing business is easy after that.
Yep. Yeah. Good stuff. Good conversation today. Other ahas takeaways from today's talk. Yeah, if you haven't gotten the book, The Power of Moments, or not The Power of Moments, what is it? The Magic Moments. Now I can't remember the name. What the heck? I'm
It's the
conflating
power.
it with. Is it The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath?
Yep. Yeah, the power moments.
Yeah, it's like I believe it's like a blue book with a jar with like fireflies in it and stuff, or like
Yeah.
glitter. Yeah. In my
Yeah.
mind, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. See?
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, definitely get it. You're gonna actually find out some really interesting statistics, and why families continue to go back to Disney, even though like when you're there, I know when we're there, it's like a family. When we're in line, it's 105 degrees, everyone's sweating, the kids are absolute maniacs, and we're in line. And every parent in line has their teeth like this, and they're like, I swear to God, if you do it again, I swear to God, I'm going to put you in a locker, right? Like, and every parent's got like the teeth, like, we're having a magical time. But Disney's really good at finishing the day with some really magical moments. And what happens is like people remember the last thing and not the whole day. They remember the fireworks, the ears on the head, carrying their kid over that fell asleep on their shoulder, going back into their hotel that smells like magic, right? Like, and you're like, okay, this $17,000 trip was worth it. I guess we'll come back. Whatever. And yeah, right. So what can you do to like put a bow on everyone's experience, kind of like Ramil did? Because here's the thing. They're not going to remember all the requests for documents and the back and forth and the negotiation piece and blah 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 blah. They're gonna look at that sign, they're gonna look at that book, they're gonna be out there in their yard going, man, this is so cool. That's it.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be real estate people. Like you can do it for anybody in your life, like
Yeah.
literally friends. And that's the point of hitting your sphere. Just I had people that had they just announced they were pregnant. The wife she bakes, so she's a sourdough baker. And so as soon as they found out they announced it, I got on Etsy, found them like one of those sets for like the mom and the kid. And it was the shirt was like 1 second, I need to like feed my sourdough starter or whatever. And then on the baby onesie, it was like
I'm the starter.
Yeah, I'm the starter or something like that. But sent that to them, and then they got that, and they messaged me, and it was just like, apparently she was having like a pretty rough like start to the pregnancy, and so she was like in bed and upset, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she can't stop laughing at this," and so it was just a great moment for them. And I haven't done any business with them; they're just close people with me. So yeah, do it for
Well,
everybody.
you
And
heard
it
it
makes
from
you feel good.
you heard it here from Coach Cooper. All right,
Makes you
y'all. Happy Friday. Right? Oh yeah, we all need to have a what are you reading this week moment. Well, that's a great idea, and we're going to do that next week because we're at time. Awesome idea, Alan. I love that idea. So yeah, next week on Friday, we're going to have everybody's what are you reading? So be prepared. Have something good. All right, guys. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you Monday, same time, same channel. Bye.